Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Teachers Podcast. With me today is Amanda Shannon. Welcome on, Amanda. It's such an honor to have you on.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I feel so blessed to be here.
It's such an honor to have you. Amanda is a spiritual business mentor, an angelic guide, and an intuitive strategist. So, we got some awesome topics for you guys today, including authenticity as your business strategy, conscious leadership, stepping out of the spiritual closet, and then how the angels and archangels can assist us. So, traditionally, the way things roll is with this podcast is um, we'd love to hear how your awakening journey started, and then we expand from there.
Yeah, awesome. My journey was a little bit of almost like an onion being peeled back in
Mhm.
layers. When I was a little girl, I always had this connection of talking to angels and being able to communicate with animals who had passed over. So I grew up on a farm where when horses would pass, I would deliver messages to my aunts and my family members, telling them that the horse was okay
Oh,
and
wow.
to be about them. But as I grew up in what we call the Matrix, I was so dead set on fitting in. I didn't quite understand why I always felt a little bit left out and not quite like the others. So, with that being said, I really prioritized fitting in instead of standing out.
Hmm.
And with that being said, I simply tucked away my gifts in my own spiritual closet and saved them for a later date. And I just kind of put them at the wayside, just like we do when we grow out of the innocence and the purity of our inner child.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until 2021 that I really had my first awakening. So I had gotten into some pretty serious codependency issues with drugs, specifically Adderall, because I had developed this belief that I I wasn't good enough and I was inadequate. And so I needed something to supplement that intelligence for me, to
Hmm.
make me feel good, to make me feel productive in my workspace.
Hmm.
But underneath the surface, I just felt so lost. I just didn't feel like myself. And I felt like I was playing a role in someone else's narrative, but I couldn't find my way out of it. And at this point in my life, God was a foreign concept to me. The angels I only knew of as my grandparents who had passed over. And then one day I took a pill that was not marked, and something in me said, don't take it, but I just decided to anyway. And that actually caused severe hallucinations and it caused my blood vessels to inflame.
Whoa.
Yeah, which meant that my legs turned purple.
Oh my
It,
God.
I looked down at my legs and I was like, holy shit, something's really wrong. I remember calling up my mom on the phone and being like, Mom, look at my legs. She goes, you need to go to the emergency room right now. And so I did. And at this point in my life, I had received this Healing with the Angels Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue
Hmm.
that I had been, dabbling with because that gift of mine wanted to come back. I just didn't know how it wanted to come through. And I I knew of Archangel Michael from this deck. So I'm sitting in the ER, kind of just not taking it seriously at all, right? Like, Snapchatting, like showing people that I was in the emergency room, just not taking my own life seriously.
Hmm.
Until the doctor said, "We don't know what's wrong with you. Like, there's something going on underneath the surface that could be killing you, and we need to hold you overnight." And
Wow.
that's literally when the lights came on inside of me and I was like, holy shit, I'm scared. Like I'm really, really scared.
Well,
So
I just have a question. So, where did this pill come from? Did somebody give it to you, or like did you find it on the ground? Like, I'm so curious.
yeah, so this guy that I was seeing, he gave it to me.
Okay. Did he
And
take it too?
no, he just gave it to me.
And he
And
didn't know what it was.
no, I thought it was I thought it was a Plan B pill, even though I knew it wasn't. And but I just took it anyway.
Do
Like
you
I
know
don't
where he got it from?
mm-mm.
Still to this day, like it's kind of a mystery.
So the angels actually led me to what the pill was.
Okay.
But it when I told him I was in the hospital, he was like, "You're fine. Like you're just having like symptoms. Like you'll be all right." And
God.
I'm like, "So you knew what you gave me. Like clearly he knew what it was, but he wouldn't tell me what it was." And it was just like I just didn't value my life. And I took it and like everything inside me said don't do it, but like I was just like, what's the worst that could happen?
Hmm.
And the word like and it sent me into the hospital into the ER.
Hmm.
Um yeah, so as I was sitting in the ER, I just decided I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pray for like probably the first time in my life, and I'm gonna pray to Archangel Michael
Hmm.
because he was the only archangel that I knew. And I just simply said, like, listen, Michael, God, if you're hearing me, like, if you save my life, I will dedicate mine to you.
Hmm.
And I I said that prayer over and over again, and that next day I woke up and all of a sudden I looked down at my legs because they were going to put me in contact with a hematologist, which is a blood doctor.
Hmm.
And I looked down at my legs and it was gone.
Hmm.
And so the doctors were able to release me. And as I was packing up my things, I look over into because my hospital room was made of bricks, and sometimes people write things in bricks. And I looked over and I just saw in the hospital room, your angels are here.
Hmm.
And a few days later, I was listening to the song Hallelujah, shuffling my angel card deck, and which card flies out? But the Archangel Michael card.
Hmm.
And I just remember in that moment, I just started to cry because I was like, oh my God, like he heard me.
Hmm.
Like he saved my life. And it was from that point on that I genuinely meant what I said. That I said I would change my life because you saved mine
Hmm.
and I would live for you. So that was the catalyst moment. Now, I was still weaning myself off at this point of Adderall, of the drugs. And then I found myself losing my job. I found my close circle of friends no longer my friends. So like the typical awakening, like just after that moment, like everything in my life just went up in flames. I mean, no money in my bank account. Like it was just like a rock bottom moment. But
Full reset.
yeah, like literally. And but in that moment, I was just like, I don't know. So I'm gonna be okay. Because it was just like that when everything started to fall away, all of a sudden I started to come online.
Hmm.
Like I started to be able to like hear different voices and see energies around people and like feel people's energies. And then I remember walking in the park, being so drawn to this stranger. And I was like, I need to go over and talk to him. And so I did. And I was like, I have no idea why I'm even walking up to you right now, but I have to introduce myself. And he said to me, he goes, "Hi, my name's Hunter. This morning I prayed to God that if a stranger approached me, I would tell them about the book of Christ."
Mm.
And I was that stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually led me back to forming my own personal relationship with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And it led me back to stability and faith.
Mm-hmm.
So from that moment, I started realizing that I really needed to heal myself. I was living in Tampa at the time, Tampa, Florida, and I moved back home to Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was there that I had this dream that led me to search for a sacred oak tree in Ole, Pennsylvania, which was 45 minutes away from me. And I believe that that tree was actually the catalyst to like me healing myself because I wound up at a spiritual center where I started to receive Reiki. So my spiritual journey kind of happened in layers. Like it was the first like you wake up call moment, right? And then it was, hey, I'm here for you. I need you to come back to like to church for a moment to like reconnect with Jesus because you really need to start to forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to get grounded again in your in your faith in your in source.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was able to move back home and start to really unpack all the trauma that I've experienced, um, I started to find myself with people who were practicing Reiki, who were into past life regression, like all the stuff that I had been super interested in, but didn't even like know people really did aside from watching tarot videos online.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just that innate curiosity in me that decided to follow that my heart and decided to, really just like get clean energetically, physically, mentally, spiritually, and start to understand who I was at my core. Not who everyone else has programmed and told me I was, but who I believe myself to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from that moment and from all of those moments that I started to invite the angels back into my life.
Amazing.
That I realized that the angels are actually here to support us and to guide us. They're not only here to protect us, but they're actually more so of representations of our multidimensionality. And they can assist us and support us in every aspect and area of our lives. So it was just in my own journey, my own awakening, that I realized the power and the resources that the angels provide to us here on earth to help us awaken to our divinity and
Mm-hmm.
to fully step into like our purpose here. So that is just kind of like how everything came to be. And I really realized a need in the business community for, entrepreneurs, for content creators to start to align with their truth, with their authenticity. Um, and how we can bring the divine into conversations and how we can also work with the angels to reprogram our subconscious because everything that I've done was just a living testament of the healing power of angels.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the work that I do now is showing people that pathway towards self-transformation and thus like business transformation if they're entrepreneurs.
I love it. I love it. I think it's a really important offering that you have, and I can really feel your connection with the angelic realms. And there was two questions that came up while you were sharing, and one was the sacred oak tree that you mentioned. Was that somewhere you had visited before, or was that like a vision you got? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so when I moved back home to Pennsylvania, I had this dream about a girl committing suicide. She jumped off a four-story building, but her friend came up the stairs and said I was 8 minutes too late. And then all of a sudden, the girl who had committed suicide flew in as a white dove and landed on her arm.
Mm,
And we both looked at each other and were like, "That's Samantha. That's your friend. We don't have to tell anybody." So when I woke up from that dream, I was like, what does this mean? And I swear something came over me because it wasn't even me typing.
mm-hmm,
It was like the spirit typing through me and I was putting together what like suicide and white doves meant and And all of a sudden, looking at this sacred oak tree on Wikipedia, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's 45 minutes away from me. And the sacred oak tree is sacred because the chief of the Lenape tribe actually went there to ask the Great Spirit to heal his wife.
Mm,
And then the Lenape tribe went back to the sacred oak tree to create peace amongst tribal wars.
hmm
And the Great Spirit answered the prayer.
hmm
So when I went out to go visit this tree, it was on private property, so I wasn't able to actually get to it. But I drove past that healing center and I was like, and I set the intention, I'm gonna touch this tree. Like,
mm.
this tree's gonna help me heal. So I pulled in and lo and behold, they had a piece of the tree that I was
Wow.
able to touch and they let me hold it. And like, it was just, yeah, so it was super cool because I was like meant to go there. And it's like, follow your dreams literally and like whatever dreams you get while you're sleeping.
hmm
You never know where they're going to lead you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania right now, and so I
Wait, what
was
part?
I'm in the Poconos.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I was like really curious about that because I really like to visit sacred nature sites. So yeah, so the private owners don't let people go see it.
They do it twice a year. So they just had one opening in June, and then I believe they do it in the fall.
Okay,
Sometime in the winter. So I would say like look up. It's like Oley, and then like Sacred Oak Tree, it'll pop up and you'll be able to see like what times you'll be able to go. That's open to
cool.
the
Cool. I love
Mhm.
that. Okay, amazing. So, and then the other question that I was really curious about is you mentioned the communication with animals, which is
Mhm.
like a really sacred gift, right? Did that start to come online for you?
So I feel like the way I connect with animals is very sacred, and it's something that's still developing for sure. I mean, my cat Snoop, we definitely have a really close bond where, if he's out for the night, I ask him just to come to me in my dreams, and deliver me a message that he's okay, and he does. And even when like I call to him, I'll whistle for him like he always comes. But that's something that I want to explore more. I actually like it's like I know it's there, but I just haven't really opened up to it more yet.
hmm
Yeah.
And as a child, as a young girl, how did they communicate to you? Was it more clairvoyant, clairaudient? How, like, would you hear their voices or would you just kind of have a knowing? What was their way of connecting with you?
I would say it was more of a knowing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And would they come in their dreams or in your dreams to you or what was there any other ways that they communicated?
So they would communicate to me like in my dream state and just like that inner knowingness, but for the ones that were still there, they would just like stand by me and we would just like sit and have conversations together. And they would just like stand at the fence or I would go in and like, talk to them. Just like, we're having a conversation. I just talk to them like that.
Mhm.
And that's how we communicated like when they were still alive.
Okay. Beautiful. And then you said you could communicate with them after they crossed over as well? And what is that? What would that look like? It would be like you would ask a question out loud or similar kind of vibe or different?
So this is when I was really little,
hmm
and it would be just more of that, like them just coming to me, whether that's like, yeah, in my dream state or just that inner knowingness, and then me not even understanding like what it was, and just relaying the message to my family.
hmm Okay, so because I'm super curious about this, right? Like, would they come as uh, the form that you knew them as before they died, or did they, like, let's say they got some sort of because sometimes they say like spirits will come with like whatever wounds they had when they died. Like, would you see them like as complete animals most of the time?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how, I mean, that's how they come to me. And like, even when I've like received other messages from like people have passed over too, they always come to me in like their fuller form,
Mm-hmm.
not in their wounded form.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I mean, that gift is really important, I feel, because people are so connected to their animals. You
Mhm.
know, like I had a cat probably like 6 months ago, and him and I got so close, and I rescued him as like a little kitten, and he was just so loving and sweet, and we would let him just roam free, right?
Mhm.
And I had like a apple collar on him so I could see where he was. And one day my neighbors came over and they were carrying him, and he ran in front of a car and got hit. And it was just really like it just like really hit me hard, you know? And I was just like, why did you choose such a short time here? You know, like we were just starting to connect and vibe and really love on each other. And he was just like, now I'm one of your permanent guides, you know. And like I saw him come when he was still alive, actually. I was doing a Native American sweat lodge, and I saw him come as like this saber-toothed tiger and like sit on top of the lodge and like protect it, you know. And so he was kind of like, now I'm here with you all the time, and I'll also potentially come back as something else, like a different animal. So um, I believe in reincarnation very strongly. So he may already be back as my puppy that I have, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, like, do you have do you have what are your thoughts on that? Like on when animals cross over really early, what do you think? Maybe they just wanted to experience being a cat for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's almost like humans, right? Like we all have contracts here on this earth, and we're only beginning to touch the surface of like what the true power of God is, and like why God does what God does, right? And like why souls show up in the way and in the span of time that they do. And I just believe that animals come to us to help us evolve or to support us through something. And when they do pass, it's because they've unlocked that within you, and you've helped them move over and evolve and them for you.
hmm
So it's always super interesting because it's like, yeah, like when they do pass over, they're on your spiritual team, and they can help you more in that form as opposed to being in a physical vessel.
hmm
So I believe that like animals, just like people we come into contact with to help us grow and evolve our state of consciousness. But I feel like also animals are really here to help us heal.
hmm For sure. For sure. Yeah, I know for me, as you were talking, I remembered like it was a huge heart opener for me. It just like blasted my heart chakra and my heart, and that love just started pouring out. So that I know that was a big part of it, and I know that also I believe that a part of him wanted to see what it's like to like observe what it's like to be human, right? And a lot of times when I think that a lot of times when animals reincarnate as one of our pets, then they're kind of like getting ready to be a human in their next reincarnation sometimes, you know?
Yeah, they're deciding whether they actually want to go full in with it or not.
Right, right. Yeah. So
For
that's
me,
somebody said that to me and it really resonated with me because
yeah.
he would always be watching everything that I was doing whenever he was home, and he was just super curious and playful. And so yeah, it's an interesting topic because it's like even though there are past lives and our future selves. I think a part of me believes that it's all happening simultaneously,
Yeah.
right? Because time doesn't really exist.
Mhm.
So that's kind of trippy because then, um, yeah, just like it's hard for the mind to grasp those concepts, you know?
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, the best way that I can even like put my head around it is like when you drive past, let's say like you drive past a crystal shop all the time, but it's just not in your awareness. But then something in your awareness shifts and all of a sudden you see it. It's like so it's just like that, right? Like all possible timelines and outcomes are available to us right now, but it all depends on our shift in consciousness if we're able to see it or not. And so it's like, I mean, for like talking about animals and animal communication, like, yeah, I mean, Snoop, my cat, could very well be like a tiger or a lion doing something out in the woods when I don't see him. Like, and, but I mean, we just don't know because it's not in our present awareness.
Hmm.
So, I mean, but that's the same thing for us too. And that's why I'm just like, okay, well, when you focus on your own consciousness, like, and expanding that, then more timelines become available to you because you're able to see them and see the opportunities presenting itself and jump into that timeline. Like quantum leaping isn't this like huge thing. It's actually just a small shift in awareness that allows you to just jump into a different timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, COVID was a great example of that, right? Like where
Yeah.
it really kind of split off with people that were really just like enjoying the moment and being present and in that state of love and surrender. And then you had the opposite side, which was really fear-based and like locked in and not going anywhere, those kind of things. And that was the first time for me that I really noticed that duality, right? Like on this planet where it's like we're all on the same planet, but we're living in very different frequencies, right? And I was thinking about that this morning, how even as an individual the frequency will shift depending on what I'm choosing to do, right? Like if I choose to watch a show on YouTube or something that is not of the highest vibration, then it's going to impact my frequency. And and even music, like anything, everything is frequency, right? So uh, I was thinking about that, how it really, there's ways to maintain our frequency, and then there's ways to lower it or increase it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny. I was watching like Men Who Stare at Goats last night. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, but I
I think
mean,
I
it's
have.
just yeah, they were talking about subliminal messaging, and I mean, like you can feel the energetic shift in like commercials or in a certain like television show. And like I used to be super in like I would watch TV all the time, and I now, quite frankly, I'm very selective with like what I watch, because of the energetic frequency. Just because you're not able to like consciously hear it, like you can subliminally, like you can subconsciously hear the messaging that they're actually like feeding you underneath the surface. And I mean, same goes for music. Like I have a higher self playlist that I listen to like bring up my energy and bring up my vibe.
Hmm.
Um, but I truly only enjoy listening to music that is like high frequency. And that means like being conscious of the lyrics that I'm feeding myself. Like your body is a temple. So like treat and your energy is sacred. So it's like, how can I treat myself like a piece of sacred, like I don't know, like a sacred energy,
Hmm.
in everything that I consume.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and it comes down to everything that we bring into this vessel, whether it's sight, sound, food, even the water that we drink, the water that we shower with. I mean, it comes down to everything that is connected to this body and to how this body experiences this plane, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's where the power of intention lies too, because we are alchemists. We can alchemize anything, right? And so just with the power of of our intention. So even yes, like we would love high quality water, but let's say not we're not in a place where we can frequently access high quality water, right? Well, we are divine. We can use our divinity to change the codes and the frequency of the water that we drink just by
Mhm.
simply infusing a higher vibration, using our words, using our intention into our water, into our food. Like it's it's all for the changing and the shifting. It just depends on like your perspective going into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Same thing with like I always say a prayer before I eat with my
Mm.
food, right? Like blessing this food to be in the highest vibration for my mind, body, soul, and spirit, and then saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I'm eating any seafood, just like thanking the beings that gave their lives, and just being very intentional and very honoring of that nourishment, right? Because it is becoming part of my body as I'm ingesting it. And especially, if you order out or get fast food, like I don't eat that stuff anymore, but if somebody's still indulging in that, then it's like making sure to clear the food and bless it because you don't know the energy that people were putting into it as they're cooking, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like somebody could be going through a really tough time and they're either just their energy by touching it and working with the food is going into that. And so I find it's really important to clear the food before and bless it up before ingesting it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I do the same thing.
yeah, I mean people have been doing that since the dawn of time, right? Like just like deep gratitude and appreciation for the nourishment.
Mhm.
And I think now society's come a little ways away from it because of, we don't see the cow being slaughtered. We don't see the sometimes horrendous environments that they're in and the butchering and all that. So there's a dissociation between what a hamburger, right? It's not even called a cow anymore, and the process that had to go through for that to be on our plate.
Yeah, and even though we've been living in a level of disassociation, I do really feel a shift happening in our collective consciousness, especially within the younger generations where they're asking those questions, they're inquiring a little bit further about like, sustainability, about the quality of life that, their food had, that the animal had, and they're bringing more consciousness into their choices, into their buying behaviors, and into what they consume, whether that's food, television, brands, like and everything. So I feel like we're slowly but surely like moving back into that deep state of gratitude, which is also back into that unified consciousness where we're appreciating the land in which we walk on.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's really cool to watch it happening and like you said earlier, it's like it's the shift internally inside ourselves and then that reflects out into our reality. And
Mhm.
there was a few moments where as I was working on myself, I had like a aha moment, right? Of like, oh wow, okay, like I guess whatever I just did working on myself worked because now I'm seeing it in the music around me. I'm seeing it in the mainstream. It's like there's this new term called woke, right? Like back then, and it's like all this was becoming mainstream, whereas before that, it wasn't quite in the collective consciousness yet, and it was really powerful to have that moment of like, wow, okay, it is really rippling out and affecting the whole planet.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's wild too because it's like one small shift. You don't really know when it's going to happen, but it's just your choice of being open to receive and being willing to accept that invitation when it does come knocking at your door, to have the opportunity to respond to a situation in a different way. And when you do that and have that internal shift, like you said, like everything in your life changes. Like all of a sudden, like you just don't see things the way that you used to.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So maybe we can bring it back to angelic communication and how angels have impacted you since that
Mhm.
experience. I know for myself, the numbers started coming in really strong, the angelic numbers, and to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore, right? In the beginning of the awakening. And then I got the angel deck, kind of like I got a couple, and that was another way of like really clear guidance. And then then they would sometimes physically appear for me. Like I've had a few times when um, my guardian angel appeared in my physical reality, which was really powerful. And then they speak in other ways, right? Like through just a knowing or just like a heart connection. Have you found any of that for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I'm dialed in on the angels. I you should see my feather collection. But the
Oh yeah,
angels are
that's another way is feathers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like feathers, coins, I mean, you name it. Like the angels are so cool because they understand that we are sensory beings.
Hmm.
Like they get that. And so that's how they're going to come to us too. But the cool thing about angels is that just like a relationship, you have to call them in.
Hmm.
Like you have to say, "Hey angels, like I need you and I want you to be here with me now. Like lead me and guide me today." So after that experience, after my awakening, I started calling in my angels and Archangel Michael to work with me every single day.
Hmm.
Like, whenever I would feel even scared or anything, I would call in Michael and I would just feel his presence, like his protective energy around me. But then I'd be walking and I would just see feathers, like out of nowhere.
Hmm.
And it's like almost like a little angelic scavenger hunt, right? Like you find a feather, you see the number 111 on a license plate, and like you find a penny just randomly on the ground, and you're like, what does all of this mean? And then I would go and I would just like sit and reflect on like finding the feather, what's the color of the feather? What bird is the feather? And it's like that childlike curiosity that I was finally reconnecting with because she's actually the one that I put in the closet. It wasn't my gifts, it was her.
Hmm.
And when I started playing with the angels, I allowed her to come back out and she was there to show me like Amanda, like this feather, I don't, oh my gosh, I actually have one right here, that I found the other day. It's so beautiful.
Oh, it is amazing. Yeah, it's like white with a little bit of gray on the top.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
like it's so beautiful. So I'm like, okay, so the texture of the feather, like, and I would just sit, I'm like, okay, purity, balance, like what does this represent? And I just feel into it. And then I find that journaling really helps in your connection with the angels because it allows your own authenticity to be expressed. And that's really what they're here to help you pull out of yourself is like who you truly are, not who
Mhm.
everyone else has told you you were. And so like I started to like really develop my intuitive gifts by just simply playing with them. And I would put together like, the messages that they were trying to tell me through the symbols that they were sending me.
Mhm.
And another huge way that the angels love to communicate with you, aside from coins, feathers, numbers, and physical, apparitions or earth angels, is through dreams and through like song synchronicities. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, like Archangel Gabriel has come to me so many times in my dreams, and a few years ago, she delivered me a message and it said, the presence of gazed eyes is fixed on the unknown.
Mm.
And I was like, huh. And then she gave me a map. And I didn't realize what that meant until later on. Because that's another thing too, is like they'll give you breadcrumbs, right? But
Mhm.
because we're always writing our story, we're always constantly in the unknown. Like that they're never going to give you the full picture because it's always changing based on your decision in the moment.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're helping you just anchor back in right now. And in your dream time, you can actually really open up and allow yourself to like completely mentor with the angels because one, your ego is asleep in your dream state, and your ability to receive messages is so much stronger because you're like running in that subconscious. So yeah, when I found that message, I was just like, what does that mean? And I realized that, you know, I'm really here to help people expand what they believe that they can see.
Mm.
Instead of seeing just through the eyes of the external world, why don't we set our eyes on within
Hmm.
and on the unknown
Right.
and feel comfortable and safe to explore the unknown
Hmm.
and do that, fully and unabashedly and just allow themselves to free fall into the wings of the angels as they explore the depths of their higher self.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I think what the big movement right now that's happening is people are looking for that authenticity,
Yeah.
right? Not only inside themselves, but also externally, right? Like people are getting tired of the fake news, the fake relationships, the fake everything, right? And it's like people are really moving towards that realness and towards that true authenticity of like, hey, I actually want to feel you, right? Like I want to feel your heart. I want to feel your emotions. I want to see that you actually like, I want to feel your heart, right? Like I want to feel that you're human and you're not just like this robotic kind of like emotionless being, right? And I'm finding that more and more in the mainstream, right? Like, which is really cool to see more and more of these um, more aware shows and movies and documentaries where it's like all the truth is coming up, and it's also there's like this shift happening of authenticity and truth where everything is coming to the surface to be looked at, processed, healed, and also um, uh, what's the word that I'm looking for? Um, like the good parts to be, um, gosh, um, celebrated. Celebrated,
Mhm.
that's the word. Yeah, like celebrating the journey, right? And celebrating and enjoying the journey versus the destination and celebrating every day of like, I'm alive, I'm here, like, wherever you are and wherever spirit wants you to be, it's like, I'm making the best out of this experience today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like for so long, like I tried to like shame my ego, and say like and blame my ego for all the shit that was happening in my life. I'm like, all my mistakes, like would blame it on the ego, blah blah blah. And then I realized I was like, Amanda, like by doing that, you're actually shaming yourself, like that your ego is a part of you. And so I called in Archangel Raphael to help me see things differently. And what he recommended to me was to see my ego as the basis of my authenticity, of the ego is my humanness.
Hmm.
And when I accept my ego as a piece of who I am, then I'm whole. And I'm no longer running from anything. I'm no longer shaming anything. And it's true authenticity that, we are divine, but we are human at the same time.
Hmm.
And it's just like Jesus, like fully man, but fully divine. And it's bringing that forward, just saying, like, hey, like, I'm here to support you, and you're not here to be perfect. We're here to be authentic with each other.
Hmm.
And in doing so, I was able to fully see myself. And I feel like that is what this world is craving right now is to be seen. And what you're saying is like, as these truths come up, yes, it's triggering. Yes, like it's traumatic because we as a collective need to look at all of the skeletons in our closet, all of the inner children and everything that we have locked away. And it's like, how can we support one another as we go through this collective shift? And it's like by showing up and standing firm in our truth in our heart and saying, you are seen, you are safe, and you are heard. And I'm here as, a guide for you to show you that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall back asleep. Like into into the programming, but you always have a way out. And like, I'm here to show you that you don't have to beat yourself up when this does happen, because it's natural, but there's always a way to move through it with grace and ease.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And what I would add on top of that is like alchemizing the shame, which is actually the lowest frequency that you can hold, below fear. It's the absolute lowest frequency is shame. And on the scale, right, on the chart, and at the top is like unconditional love and enlightenment. And so, from that, instead of that shame going into that space, I've alchemized it to find curiosity, right? Like, how can I, with curiosity, look at this situation that's causing this intense trigger in me, right? Like, how can I just not judge it, not judge where it's coming from or how long I've been playing out this program, right? But just be like, okay, um, all right, let's get curious about it. When did this happen? How did this unfold? Like, what can we do to shift this in a different direction, And I think the biggest part of it that a lot of people don't realize is that the awareness of the program and the trigger and those kind of things, like the deep awareness of it, is already like 90% of it.
Mhm.
Releasing it and removing it is the easy part. It's just becoming like it's like a dark room, right? And then you don't see it, but then when you turn the flashlight on, oh, okay, now I see that. And then once you see it, you can take it out of the room.
Right. Yeah. Like awareness is your BFF. Like when it comes to like dismantling like old beliefs, because it's just like, yeah, as soon as you have eyes on it, you're like, oh, all right, game set match. Like I got you.
Hmm.
Like I'm gonna shift out of this.
Hmm.
And it's just, but it's also that devotion too. It's like that devotion to yourself, your higher self, to say, I'm gonna consciously choose to bring my awareness there and to continue to shift out of it until it's no longer my primary response.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really curious, how are you merging your offerings um, with coaching and with different businesses and things like that with the angelic realms?
Mhm. So I received a message a while ago, where the angels came to me and they said, through the angels, you will attain your higher self. And
Mm,
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, what does that, like, how do I do that? Like, what does that mean? And then they came and they were like, okay, well, we're going to help you. So each archangel actually is a representation of our multidimensionality, of a different aspect of our higher self.
mhm,
So what I do and what the archangels actually brought through, I can't really take any credit on it, is that they walk my clients, my students through the Angel Academy, which is my
mm,
signature offering, and they show them how to, reframe the relationship with fear. Like that's what Archangel Michael's wheelhouse is. So they come in and help them activate these aspects that are already within them, like courage and confidence, and showing them that there's truly nothing to be afraid of. Raphael teaches them about the sacred petals of their heart and how to truly heal what Michael has brought up to the surface and reclaim the purity and the curiosity of your inner child.
mhm,
Gabriel, her wheelhouse is communication. So, like, When the student gets to Gabriel's section, it's like all in on intuitive communication, clearing up your channel, why you repressed your voice,
Mhm.
and how you can express that out into the world. And with Uriel, he's all about the light of God, showing you that no matter where you are, you always have light within you, and how to walk as an embodied leader. And then, I mean, there's so many more archangels, but like those are the core four that I really focus in on specifically for my signature program. But then it's like, okay, well, as we evolve, how can the angels continue to support us? Like, so we bring the angels and divinity into the business sector because there is no separation. Just like there is no separation between human and self, like there's no separation between divinity and business.
Mhm.
So the angels are here to help break the mold and to release our attachments to these old ideologies regarding business and help bring a new paradigm into our conscious awareness of what it means to be an entrepreneur in this modern day and how we can actually lead from our divinity, because that is what I truly believe the missing link between like next evolutionary like success and like where we are right now.
Mhm.
So that is really like how the archangels can assist. They assist on the personal end, but then they can also go in and show you how to rewrite your strategies, how to use technology to elevate your business. Like they're here to assist and support you throughout your personal journey and your professional experience.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because I think that piece you mentioned about divinity being not being separate from business is really important because I've noticed in that world there's a like it's kind of like the less emotions you have, the less you feel, the better you do almost, right? Like it's like let's not think about the repercussions of what we're doing and just do it and make profit and then the next generations can deal with it, you know? And
Right.
it's like that's so out of touch with the earth, with our true selves. And as people become more and more in tune with themselves and more authentic, more connected to their heart, more connected to the planet, it's like those old ways just can't exist anymore
No.
in the new world, right? Like it's like we can't even it's almost it's unfathomable, right? Unfathomable. I'm I'm
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
hard time pronouncing that word.
Sure.
Unfathomable. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it really is because it's like I used to work in corporate, like, and as I was mentioning to you before we hopped on, and I like swear I was like, I'm not going back. Like, I'm done with this. I'm in my safe little Sedona bubble when I live there, in my like little healing sanctuary. And then God and the angels were just like, but you do though. You need to go back,
Hmm.
like, because you're here to break the mold. And I don't know why. I just thought of like the story of Moses. Coming he left Egypt and found himself, and then God was like, "You need to go back." And I always relate to like his courage that he had,
Hmm.
and going back and standing in his authenticity, letting the voice of God speak through him to the Pharaoh, and it was just like. Now we need courageous, conscious leaders to go back into the business world, into corporate America, and just say, there's another way though. Like I know that you're craving to be seen. I know that you're burnt out emotionally and creatively.
Hmm.
And we don't have to push more. We don't have to push anymore. You
Hmm.
don't have to hustle anymore. Like, let's sell with soul. Let's lead with authenticity.
Hmm.
Like, I'm here to show you that there is a much lighter way of doing business because this is business that's fully aligned with your mission, why you even started this company, that's going to support not only you, but your employees, your team, and the customer experience. Like, so how can we bring heart and soul back into strategy, into the boardroom? Like, and but it's scary though. I mean, like, because here I am, like, leaving this little bubble and other people that want to do the same thing, right? And it's like all of a sudden you're just smack in the middle of like this fear of judgment. And it's like, oh wow, like how do I navigate through this? Like, because are they going to judge me for bringing the angels into conversation like as a business strategy? And it's like, but I'm here to do that. I'm here, like, we're here to break molds. We're here to be innovative and different and to show people it's okay to lead with intuition. It's
Mhm.
okay to lead with divinity. Like, watch and like just watch as the wonders of God, of Source, work through us to bring your business to the next level where it's actually what meant to go, not what the ego created it to be.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And as you were talking, it's like, imagine if businesses incorporated a hour of meditation every day, or even a half hour, right? Imagine if, before a meeting, we had 10 minutes to just like ground down, like sit, in a foot bath, or put your feet on the grass, and, or have like a yoga offering every day. There's so many ways to incorporate and make the business world, as we're talking about it, more connected, right? And like asking spirit for the next step or the next phase, or like, I know this one crystal shop that the owner does a pendulum reading, and like that's what answers all her questions. Like, she'll ask the pendulum, do I need to order this batch of crystals? And she'll either get a yes, like, do I want to hire this person? And so she's giving a higher power the the reins, right? Like, instead of um, fully, like there's like a true surrender in that, right? And it's in especially in the masculine energy on the planet right now. It's like there's a really difficult time for a lot of men to surrender and to be uh, able to just be like, okay, let's see what flow feels like, right? And it's like that surrender is where a lot of the magic happens, right? And but also incorporating that with the movement forward and the structure, right? And like it's a really interesting conversation because I had, when this podcast is out, it'll already be released. But I had my buddy Ben come on, and he has a Shilajit company,
Mhm.
and he talked about how he's doing business in a very conscious way. And he went to Nepal and met the Sherpas, and is doing it in a really, for me, from my perspective, a very correct and aligned way, I should say, instead of correct, very aligned with the planet, with um, you know regenerative ideas and regenerative possibilities of whatever it is that is being created. So it's not take, 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 because there's a limit to how much we can take, right? And it may not show in our generation, but in the next generation or the one after, it's like that doesn't exist anymore for them.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying too about like the masculine and like how we really need to surrender because It's all about the rise of the divine feminine right now and bringing back into balance that harmony between the sacred masculine and divine feminine.
Hmm.
Like the feminine is actually the one that is, we can lead with that, but the masculine is the channels, the strategies in which that energy can flow through.
Hmm.
So you get this idea, but you use your masculine to set up the systems, but it can be a very intuitive based system. So it's like, how are both of these energies working in tandem with one another at their fullest capacity? No one is like, it's not from a wounded place, it's from like a place of like complete healedness and like strength.
Hmm.
And how can we relate these two energies and infuse them into our business? It's like, well, let's lead with our divinity, but set up structures that support the energy that's being channeled through us.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's unraveling and unfolding as we go, and it's creating more aligned ways to be on this planet, and to receive the I think eventually we're going to shift away from money altogether, and it's going to be like trade, and just like things will manifest for people.
Yeah.
I think that's the next step eventually, because I've seen it in the spiritual community where I'll want something and I'll just ask for it to my angels, my guides, to the higher power, and then I'll go to lunch with my friend, and let's say I asked for a backpack, right? My friend, I'll be having lunch and they'll be like, "You don't need a backpack, do you? I have one in the car that I'm trying to get rid of." Like that happens often in
Yeah.
that frequency, right? And that's that 5D frequency that, we're taking steps into, and it has to happen on all levels, right? It has to happen in the business level, has to happen on the personal level, has to happen on the romantic level, all the truth opening up. It happens on all the levels, right? And it's like there's no more hiding, and it's like we're not numbing anymore. We're facing our stuff, and we're moving through it and healing it so that things can continue to move that towards that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's so cool too because it's like all these people with these beautiful like businesses and that are operating from this conscious standpoint, like we need those people right now because as others continue to awaken, like in what you're talking about in all areas of our life, like romantic, like environmental, business, like we need all these people here with their beautiful offerings, with their beautiful perspectives to support everyone at any stage of their journey
Hmm.
and to like to show them like, this is how we lead from truth and authenticity. Like, let me inspire you, let me empower you.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the last topic we were going to talk about was stepping out of the spiritual closet. So what does that mean for you? And what is that? I mean, I feel like we've already been talking about it, but it's kind of a term that, yeah, what does it mean for you?
So, what stepping out of the spiritual closet means, at least for me, is stepping into the fullest expression of who I am.
Hmm.
Just truly not playing by the rules of anybody else, but living in authenticity with my heart and showcasing people like who I am, like, and not hiding my gifts, not hiding like the truth of who I am, and just letting it rip and not being afraid to ruffle feathers, to trigger people, or to play into other people's traumas. Like, I'm not here to do any of that.
Hmm.
I'm simply here to be myself, to lead with compassion but to lead with, compassion and passion
Hmm.
and show people it's okay to do the same. Like, we're not here to like be our own individual sector. We can actually take what we have and fuse it into these different areas of life and help to elevate the consciousness. And that's like also stepping out of the spiritual classes, realizing like we don't have to be like this healing community right here. Yes, that's amazing, but it's like, how can we grow? How can we spread out and bring it to the masses? And the way that we do that is going in and saying, like, this old paradigm, it's not going to work anymore.
Hmm.
Like, and showing people a new way to level up in their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love all of your offerings and I love how connected you are with the angels. And I'm so excited to hear how your connection with the animal realm and the animal spirit realm continues to evolve and grow. And it's been such an honor to have you on, Amanda. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute treat to be here, Peter.
Amazing. Until next time, Amanda, thank you.
Thank you.